Hello, in the audio gadgets world there are two things that always turn me on and always makes me interested, and probably these two things are my weak spots. I like limited editions and I like copper. Probably Hidizs knew about that because I don't have other explanation why they decided to release a limited version of their portable digital to analog converter S9 Pro. As you can see, it's S9 Pro Red Copper Limited Edition. Their regular S9 Pro became pretty successful model, offering good sound for pretty affordable price. It's based on the 9038 Q2M chip and has single-ended and balanced output, delivering 100 mW and 200 mW for 32 ohms load respectively. So pretty nice in terms of specs, and in general a really good digital to analog converter with price, if I remember right, about $120 or $130. Of course I did a review, you can easily find it on my channel, and there were plenty of reviews. And in the limited edition they decided to use other materials for the case, and as far as I know they haven't changed anything in circularity, so no big changes in sound, but I think it wasn't necessary because sound of this dongle was and is pretty good, especially if you like natural and relatively monitoring signature. But of course for the limited version, due to more rare metal on the shell that requires more expensive production, price is higher. It's retail price $170, but not almost always, but often there are some sales, some bundle offers. So Hidizs usually have some good things to offer to the customers, and actually let's have a closer look. Package is pretty minimalistic, but at the same time polygraphy is pretty nice. Good combination of glossy and foiled materials, and even a tint of the foiling actually hints about the red copper limited edition. On the back side you can find all technical specifications, so indeed here used the 9038 Q2M, and it supports DSD up to 512 and PCM up to 768 kHz 32 bits. And don't ask me where one can get content with such resolution. I don't know, and weight 11 grams, so in terms of specifications it supports all possible resolutions that exist. Inside, of course, buyers will get digital to analog converter itself. Its slot is pretty tight, and if you push too hard you will tear this ribbon away, but it's the only way to get it out more or less carefully. So here it goes out, and underneath accessory set is also pretty expectable. You'll get some warranty cards, you'll get short cable, you'll get USB Type-C to USB Type-A adapter, and also some high-res stickers, and pretty nice clip. Actually, I don't know the usage scenario for this clip, but probably someone can find some usage here. So let's get it out of this wrap, and actually it's sealed with this barcode, ensuring additional protection and showing that no one before you used it. So let's tear it away and let's get it out. Here it is, and in terms of kinesthetic, it's pure joy. It looks nice, this color of copper is stylish, it has good combination of surfaces, so glass on the both sides and sense of heavy copper on the edges, really pleasant to touch combination, reminds a bit of ceramic, reminds a bit of metal, and feels fancy. And usage is pretty simple. You plug cable from one side, you plug other side to your source, and it's working. Of course, you also need to connect some headphones. So here is 3.5mm and 2.5mm. Both of them are located pretty close, so it's not possible to use them simultaneously, or it will be pretty hard, but I don't think that it's a common scenario for the USB digital to analog converter. And also there is a LED indicator that changes color, showing that the resolution of signal that it's processing. And here is this clip. Probably you can get longer cable if you'd like, and you can connect it to the source and clip digital to analog converter itself somewhere to your short and use a shorter earphones cable, but I don't think that it's really usable scenario. But anyway, it's always nice to have some accessory in the set that doesn't have it. Maybe you can clip it somewhere on your backpack, for example, or on your jeans pocket. I don't know, maybe there are some scenarios for this half case with clips. If you, by the way, if you know any, you can share the comment. I think that people will be really grateful. But to summarize this part, it's done and built and feels really great. And of course, one thing to notice, it doesn't have own battery, and it consumes the power of your device, and it's pretty power hungry, one of the most power hungry dongles, so it will drain battery pretty fast, but it's a price that you're paying for the sound quality, and about it we'll talk in the next part. And of course, shortly about the sound, I built a simple setup using my FIO M11 as a transport. Of course, vast majority of such digital to analog converter users will use them with smartphone, but it doesn't make any difference what you will use, and my smartphone is busy now filming this video, so I'm using my M11, and also I have my media library loaded here. Then goes S9 Pro copper version, and a slight teaser for one of my next reviews, but it's these earphones here used just for illustration purposes. Of course, for critical listening I used a bunch of high-end models that I own. And in terms of sound, so necessary spoiler, I did some blind A/B tests, and sonically it's almost equivalent to the regular S9 Pro. There was slight tiny deviation in sound, with this one being a bit more weighty, but the difference was so small that probably it's just a slight alteration between two instances of same device. So in short, we can consider that there is no big sonical difference between them. And it's the digital to analog converter built for those who like natural and monitoring signature, and for those who like slight focus on the micro contrast, for those who need analytical listening. And in short, let's talk about the sound step by step. You can see that green LED is glowing, looks pretty cool in my opinion actually. So bass is a bit on the drier side, at the same time it's really fast, saturated with small nuances and details. It's tight, it has a good depth, and it's controlled well. It goes almost to maximum depth and delivers a nice punch. But at the same time it won't add any weight, it won't add any additional tightness to the low frequencies, so just what is present in the record will be played. So if you need additional weight, you need to look at some other digital to analog converter, or you can add some weight to the low frequencies using the headphones. Of course, you can get more basic earphones or headphones and it will do the trick for you. At the same time, you'll get a lot of small nuances and details, and actually it's where this digital to analog converter shines with acoustic instruments that are timbre rich. And my first example, it's pretty obvious here, it's Musica Nuda, Libera with a big band. They offer interesting record, but still double bass here plays a vital role in the mix, and it delivers with all that sense of full-bodied, full-weight instrument. Mid frequencies are also on the analytical side of things, so it's pretty critical for the quality of record digital to analog converter. It's slightly focused on the small details and nuances, so with poor record you hear that it's poor. And also it won't try to add any coloration like highlighting emotions, adding weight or dynamics, just what is in and what is out. At the same time, you'll get a really good resolution and you'll be able to hear small and tiny nuances. So it's for those who like monitoring representation, but I already said it a few times. And it builds a pretty big imaginary stage, noticeably bigger than average, both in width and in depth, with really precise depth layering and separating one layer from another. And as an example for the mid frequencies, I've got Pain of Salvation, Reasons, fast aggressive track. Of course, record quality isn't perfect, but still it requires really good and technical representation to show all the nuances and small details, and this digital analog converter delivers it with all emotions, with aggressive part, with interesting vocals. But I won't start advertising this album by Pain of Salvation once again. It's just great, and this digital analog converter delivers it pretty well. And the treble, also natural, monitoring with slight hints of layering, but it's still really good results for this price tire, with nice saturation, with small overtones. At the same time, it will be pretty forward, not like it's adding something to the treble, it's just not adding anything to the bass. And that means that treble will be also pretty present, and keep in mind that with bright earphones, monitoring representation could be a bit too bright. But you can adjust it with your earphones, of course. And at the same time you get a good resolution and nice control and proper attacks and decays, not too dry actually for the treble. And example for the high frequencies, it's Sting, Fragile, and just a great percussions rendered nicely by a good digital to analog converter, and that's it what you will get here. In terms of pairings, it has a nice black background, and at the same time it has good power to drive full-size headphones, even easy to drive planars, maybe not perfectly, but it will do that pretty nicely, especially from the balanced output. And about the comparisons, to be honest, there is not much sense in saying about some comparisons. It stands aside from the vast majority of digital to analog converters with its focus on the micro contrast and small nuances. So, like iBasso will be a bit more colored in terms of highlighting emotions. Shanlink will be a bit more. Actually, not a bit, it will be noticeably more weighty with less forward treble, and for example, few BTR5 will be also natural and monitoring, but slightly less than this one. This one goes into the micro details even further. And at the same time, comparing with regular S9, it's a bit more natural because of better weight distribution. So, to summarize everything, it's good sounding digital to analog converter for those who like monitoring representation, and built in a stylish, really cool looking copper case. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a nice day.